What's going on, guys? Welcome to another Doctor Who ranking video. Today I'm going to be ranking every episode 4 from series 1 to 12. Now, same as usual, this is my personal opinion, this is my list, number 12 being my least favourite, number 1 being my favourite. So yeah, personal opinion here. If you guys appreciate my opinion, I will appreciate yours too, even if they're completely different. I am totally fine with it, because an opinion is an opinion. But anyway, let's get started with this list. Number 12. Listen from Series 8. We start off with what I think is a pretty damn controversial pick. Listen's one of those episodes that I think you either love it or you hate it. And for me, I wouldn't say that I hate it, but it's not really an episode for me. I find it quite boring. Just not having a monster actually visibly there is kind of, it works sometimes and it works here and there here, but I don't think it kind of works altogether for me. You've got the stuff with Awesome Pink, which I used to kind of be annoyed about because I thought, well, you know, spoilers, end of Series 8, Danny Pink dies, so how is Awesome Pink one of his offspring? But then I kind of, you know, understood that, oh yeah, times can change, you know, this could be just an alternate future to what actually happens, so I'm okay with that now, but at the same time, Awesome Pink's such an unoriginal character, he's literally just Danny Pink, no difference about him whatsoever, and yeah, generally I just don't find this one particularly interesting. The thing with Clara at the end, like, you know, talking to the Doctor as a child, I think is way too far for Clara's whole thing, and it just kind of starts her issues that I have with her, and yeah, altogether, just not a fan of this one. Number 11. The Power of Three from Series 7. Here's an episode which has a hell of a lot of potential, but was let down massively just by how it was executed. Generally, I think the idea of these small little cubes just falling down to Earth, and they seemingly don't do anything, and people are wondering at first what the hell is going on here, but after months and months of them being there, people just realize, okay, well, they're just these random black little cubes, they're not doing anything, so people take them into their homes, they use them as decoration, you know, some people just throw them in the bin, they just kind of end up everywhere, and people just have them in their homes and kind of forget about them after a while. But then it turns out that this was all a plan for this race to kind of study human beings and then find their weaknesses, and once they all the cubes activate and people start dying and weird things start happening, it's a really cool concept, let down by one being a bit kind of slow and boring, but the main reason with this one is at the end the Doctor literally just waves his sonic screwdriver around and finishes the story, finishes the plot. It just doesn't work. Number 10. Arachnids in the UK from Series 11. Here's an interesting one. I imagine most people would probably have this at the bottom of their list, but I mean, it's in 10th place for me, so it is low down. But honestly, I don't think Arachnids in the UK is as bad as most people say it is. Now, calling it Arachnids in the UK, is that too much? Yes, it's pretty much just Arachnids in Sheffield. That's what they should have called it. Spiders in Sheffield would have worked much better, I think. And is it a very bad ending? Yes, literally just playing the music, putting them into this room, closing the door of the room, but I mean, let's be honest, that wouldn't have captured all of them, so there's still going to be some roaming around, surely, and also, generally that music was annoying, and literally just trapping them in a room, we're just going to leave them there and what? Bit of a stupid ending, I think, but generally there's some scary stuff with, you know, the spiders cocooning people up, and I thought generally the spiders were actually quite terrifying, so although this one definitely has issues, I don't think it's quite as bad as most people say. Number 9. Knock Knock from Series 10. This episode is just kind of alright. It's pretty much a definition of a filler episode for me in a series. In Series 10 it doesn't really stand out as one of the best ones, it's just kind of there in the middle towards the back somewhere. I think Knock Knock has a really cool concept of these little kind of lice-like sort of creatures that live in the wood. They're basically part of the wood, and this crazy landlord basically feeds humans to the wall and to these lice. And I think generally there's some scary stuff going on here. There's also some funny stuff with the Doctor pretending to be Bill's grandfather, I'm pretty sure it is. Some funny little moments there. But yeah, generally this one is, I think, quite good up until we find out that the monster, the wooden monster, we find that, which looks a bit ridiculous and silly. Then we find out that the landlord, the old man, is actually the wooden lady's son. It's a bit far-fetched. Basically, it's another one of these things where the story is summed up. It is finalized with love, it's saved by love, and yeah, it's not really a thing I like in Doctor Who. Number 8. Daleks in Manhattan from Series 3. Here's another one that I think is a little bit underrated. I mean, looking at my list now, there's quite a few ones that I find overrated and quite a few I find underrated here. This is one of the ones that I do find a little bit underrated. Yes, the American New York accents are way too over the top. Tallulah is such an annoying character. The pig slaves are also kinda useless. I mean, I guess they were kinda going for an Ogron type of thing for the Daleks again, but honestly, I think this would have been a cool chance to bring back the Ogrons, in my opinion. I mean, you know, why not? We haven't seen them since way back in the classic era, so bring the Ogrons back. But we have the pig slaves, which are kind of okay, but they're literally just slaves. The Daleks in this one, though, I think are pretty cool, and although I think they do in some ways get better in the next episode when they turn on Dalek Sec, there is still some interesting stuff here, and the Doctor's hatred of the Daleks really showing through, you know, after what happened at the end of Series 2. Number 7. Aliens of London from Series 1. Here's another story that I find fairly underrated. Aliens of London is the first part to the Slitheen two-parter, a villain that, yes, are a little bit silly and look a little ridiculous, and with the whole farting thing are a bit too silly, but at the same time, the fighting thing makes sense with the politics, and also generally I just think it would be cool to see the Slitheen back in some way. I think it's a bit far-fetched, though I don't think it's going to happen, but Aliens of London I think is a pretty good start up to this story. I do think I prefer World War III, the second part, a little bit more, but this one is definitely good from the start, where the Doctor supposedly comes back to Earth to, you know, get Rose to talk to her family, see her mum again. He thinks it's like a week later or something. It turns out it's been like a year. That's a really funny moment. I love when he comes in with the paper, he's like, I may have got the time a bit wrong, you've actually been got a year. And generally this is a cool thing set up for the Slitheen, and I really like, what's her name, Harriet Jones in this one. Great character, love her, she's annoying, but she's annoying in a good way. Number 6. The Doctor's Wife from Series 6. Here's another one that people would probably expect to be a little bit higher, but this is still a good episode, don't get me wrong. There are issues I have with this one. Personally, I don't really like the idea of building a TARDIS. I mean, we had the whole thing in Series 2, where the Doctor said that TARDISes can't be built. Now, I know this is on a planet where there are all these broken TARDISes, so it makes more sense, but for me, I personally just still can't see it. I still don't really like the idea of it, but that's just personally me. I think the TARDIS in human form is really cool though. A little bit annoying here and there, I think, but yeah, I think she's good on the whole. House is also a really cool and unique film that I like. The main thing I like about The Doctor's Wife personally though is the stuff with Amy and Rory trapped inside the TARDIS. Those scenes are just amazing. They're some of the best scenes in Doctor Who. I love them so much. They're creepy. You really feel for Amy and Rory there. So yeah, this is a pretty good story. Number 5. Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror from Series 12. Now, you've got to take the Series 12 episodes with a grain of salt. I have only watched them once. I've only watched all of Series 12 once so far as of recording this, so they're getting ranked based on one viewing. However, Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror I remember being a really fun episode. My favourite of, well actually probably not my favourite of the series so far. For Series 12 that would have been Spyfall Part 1. But yeah, Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror felt like a good old Russell T Davies sort of episode, and I really enjoyed it for that. The actor who played Nikola Tesla was amazing. I also quite liked the guy playing Thomas Edison, was it? He was pretty good too. Generally the companions didn't have a whole lot to do in this one. Yaz a little bit, but yeah, they were okay for what they were doing. And then I felt like the villain was a little bit weak in this one, but was still okay. I felt like they were decent enough. So yeah, this is a pretty good one. Number 4. The Sontaran Strategy from Series 4. Here's an episode, a story that a lot of people don't seem to be the biggest fan of. I personally think it's pretty good. It's a good story for Series 4. I love a lot of moments in this one. Firstly, Martha Jones coming back is awesome. I love seeing her back. She's one of my favourite companions in Doctor Who. The Doctor and Donna are both great in this as well, and it's cool to see Unit back in some form also. I love the moment in this one where the Doctor and one of the unit soldiers go into, is it Thomas Radigan, the kid's name? They go into his house, his mansion, and find the Sontaran portal, and the Sontaran comes out of it, and I just love the Doctor's kind of nonchalant sort of, yeah, I'm in control here sort of vibe that you get from him in this episode. I love him going around, he's got the tennis racket and the tennis ball, and he's like, yeah, eat this, and he's talking about the vent in the back of their neck, and he smacks it into the vent, and it's just such an awesome scene. I love that scene for the Doctor. And yeah, generally, I think this is a pretty good setup for this story. Number 3. Before the Flood from Series 9. So here's the second part to Under the Lake, which we had in the episode 3 list. Although Before the Flood isn't as good as Under the Lake in my opinion, it's still good. I love seeing the... what's he called? I can't remember what it's called now. The big monster from Before the Flood. I love seeing that. Although I think it was very underused. It looked really cool, but was barely used at all. However, the moment where it finds the Doctor, it's just looking over him, and the Doctor's like bending backwards. He looks absolutely terrifying. I think if they use that monster a lot more in this episode, or just in the story in general, it would have been great, but they really underused him a lot. However, the moments with him are good, apart from that one shot where he gets flooded, and it looks so terrible when he gets kind of shot away with the water. What were you thinking? But yeah, generally this is an awesome story. I think it's really good. Not as good as the first part, but as a whole story, yeah, I really enjoy it. Number 2. The Time of Angels from Series 5. Here's the first part of the Angel two-parter from Series 5. I think Time of Angels, the first part, is the better part of the two. And yeah, I just think it's a really great start for this two-parter. The Angels are one of my favourite villains. Awesome seeing them back from Blink in Series 3. It's cool to see Matt Smith with them, who's kind of the definitive Doctor for the Angels, I suppose, especially since they're Stephen Moffat's creation too. Yeah, this episode's really awesome. Really great to see River Song back. This is kind of her debut for the Matt Smith era and where everything would kind of begin for her, I suppose. And yeah, just generally a good episode. I think a lot of the supporting cast are pretty good. I love Angel Bob. He's great. And the cliffhanger at the end is a great cliffhanger. I don't care what anybody else says. I think that's a great cliffhanger. The Doctor just saying, there's one thing you should never ever put in a trap. If you value your existence, that thing is me. And he just shoots the light out of the sky, the gravitational thing, whatever it was. It's a great episode. Number 1. The Girl in the Fireplace from Series 2. It's a Stephen Moffat script, much like The Time of Angels. I'm pretty sure that's also Stephen Moffat. And yeah, this is his second addition to Doctor Who, this time in Series 2. Although I personally do think that The Girl in the Fireplace is Stephen Moffat's weakest script before he became showrunner. Like from Series 1 to 4, I think The Girl in the Fireplace is my least favourite of his. It's still amazing because he just did such an amazing job before he came on as showrunner. His stories were flawless. The Girl in the Fireplace is brilliant. You've got Mickey along for the ride now. He's coming along in the TARDIS, and it's cool to see him react to things. Generally, the kind of idea of this spaceship in the far, far future with pre-revolutionary France on the spaceship is really cool. I love the setting in France. I love the setting on the spaceship. There's some really funny moments like the Doctor and the horse, which I just think are hilarious and amazing. And it also has a very sad, sweet end as well. It's just a near perfect story. Alright, so there we have it. That is my ranking of every episode 4 from series 1 to 12 of Doctor Who. What is your ranking? I'd love to know down in the description how you would rank all these episodes. Remember, opinions are opinions. Everybody, be happy with everyone. Accept everyone's opinion, even if yours is completely different, and we can all get on together and be happy. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please go ahead, like and subscribe. Go into the description, follow me on Twitter, that would be awesome, and I'll see you guys in the next video.